Which one? Good morning. It is Thursday, February 6th, and I'm Brian Bach.
And I'm Jamal Smith. Welcome to another episode of Altadena Talks. And, this is the place where you have a lot of good information about resources related to the recovery effort for the Eaton fire and trying to rebuild or get any information related to Altadena, Pasadena. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the announcements. Let's go ahead and do this. Do it here and we'll expand. So I'm going to start off again with the sandbags. They're going to be available at from 8 to 5 p.m. and they're going to be at Jackie Robinson Park, 1081 North Fair Oaks in the south parking lot. It's going to be at Victory Park, the parking lot along Altadena Drive at 2575 Paloma Street. Fire Station 37 at 3430 East Foothill Boulevard, and Fire Station 38 at 1150 Linda Vista Avenue. And again, each of these sites is going to be from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. As far as I know, it's Monday through Friday. It may go beyond. We'll follow up and find out. I also wanted to reiterate a post that E-Dub had up. He has these free shirts with this logo below it. He started yesterday and has his telephone number at 626-213-4642. Give him a call or text him. If you're in the area, you can let him know and he can stop on by and pick it up. He did say he'll be available for the rest of the week, so you don't have to do it yesterday. So go ahead and reach out if you're interested in getting a free shirt. And these are just an FYI, men's sizes. They're unisex, men's unisex sizes. This one is about the Red Cross shelter down at the Pasadena Convention Center. This is just information that was provided yesterday, saying that this will ultimately be moved. They're gonna find a new location for the folks. As we get this information, we'll share it. But just again, a heads up that this will change soon. Dina Relief Drive. This is going to be at the Pasadena Church at 425 Sierra Madre Villa Avenue in Pasadena. This is every Saturday in February. So the first one was last Saturday, the 1st. Next one will be the 8th, then the 15th, and the 22nd. For information, you can go to info@pasadenachurch.com or kingandme2020@gmail.com for an email. Come by if you're in need of supplies such as water, food, clothing, toiletries, pillows, blankets, diapers, etc. And volunteers are definitely necessary. So if you want to help out, here's one of the locations you can go. Here's one that's really important for folks to really consider. Altadena Wellness Event. This is today at Fair Oaks Burger at 2560 Fair Oaks Avenue. This is where you're going to get shelf-stable foods, canned foods, snacks, waters, brand new clothes, and beverages. Now, there are a couple time slots where they're providing priority. So from 1 to 2:30, the priority is to seniors and people with disabilities and families with children 5 and under. And then from 2:30 to 4, there's going to be priority to Altadena residents with Medi-Cal or those who are eligible. So World Food Bank community health workers to provide information and application assistance for benefits also. So if you need assistance with disaster relief, please bring your relevant documents and documentation. Okay. Next, we have disaster relief claim assistance. This is actually going to be tomorrow, February 7th. Starting tomorrow, February 7th, it's going to be on Wednesdays and Fridays. So on Wednesdays, it will be from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then on Fridays, it'll be from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. This will take place at Jackie Robinson Community Center at 1020 North Fair Oaks Avenue in Pasadena. Next, we have Heal Dina. This is what does it look like? Music Changes Lives presents Heal Dina with help from Puma and LA. This is going to be tomorrow, February 7th, from 10:30 to 6 p.m. at Metropolitan Baptist Church at 2283 North Fair Oaks Avenue in Altadena. So it says this location will be a community-led resource hub for those affected by the fires. There will be Puma products, community building, and is for healing Altadena. Another healing event where you can actually get some assistance. This will be on Saturday, February 8th. There will be 4 time slots: 9 a.m., 10:30 a.m., 1 p.m., and 2:30 p.m. You can register more than once, and they do encourage you to come 15 minutes early. This is going to be at Sycamores in Highland Park at 840 North Avenue 66 in LA. It says the groups are limited to 40 each, so register online. And when it comes to parking, it says do not park on the street. You're to enter the driveway and park behind the building in the lot. Now, Sydney Page Backpacks and Beyond to help students soar. There's going to be a Backpacks and More giveaway for students impacted by the Eaton fire. This will also be on Saturday, February 8th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. This is going to be at PHS. And there's going to be backpacks, school supplies, books, STEAM products, cosmetics, toys, socks, and there will be a live DJ. You do want to register, and this will be at www.sydneypage, that's paige.org/Eaton. You must register, students must be present, and this is going to be a while supplies last situation. And I believe, Brian, you had mentioned that this had been going on for a week or two. Is that correct?
Hold on.
Oh, I know you're doing something else. We'll move on.
Yeah, the one at PHS, yes.
Yeah, cool. Now we're going to move on to the next one. The Preserve Altadena presents Rebuilding Legacies, Empowering Black Families to Protect and Preserve Their Heritage. The 2 young ladies that are actually, one of the 2 ladies hosting this event is from Altadena and has relatives that actually had, were affected. And this webinar is not about selling the land. It's about rebuilding, protecting the family's legacy, and ensuring that the rich Black history of Altadena continues to thrive for generations to come. So in the wake of recent Eaton fires, families have been weighing their options with mounting pressures from predatory lenders or investors searching to purchase the land. The risk of losing those stories and legacies of Altadena's Black community grows. So join them and everybody for this inspiring virtual event that will provide the importance of keeping and rebuilding your land, practical strategies and resources for rebuilding, and a message of hope to empower you to move forward with confidence. This will also be Saturday, February 8th. The time will be 2 p.m. And again, it's a virtual event, and you have to go to the Instagram page, preserve.altadena, and there's a link in the bio for you to register. And we also have Altadena Fire Recovery Event. I know we got a lot today. So this again is another event on Saturday, February 8th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is going to be at the grocery outlet parking lot at 2270 North Lake Avenue in Altadena. It's going to be gift cards, financial assistance, consulting, LA County resource table, groceries and clothing, and again, gonna have those free delicious burgers, tacos, and drinks. This is courtesy of the Knights of Columbus.
Free delicious burgers.
Did you do that?
Yes, I did.
Goofball. This particular one, I have to go to a different screen so I can actually see it a little better. But this is actually a pretty cool thing. This is provided by Macy's, and this is something that was shared again in a family chat. So we're getting resources from all different locations. But basically, Macy's Incorporated is hosting a one-day free store pop-up to aid Los Angeles wildfire recovery. This is going to be on Saturday, February 8th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is to support the wildlife efforts. They're going to host this one-day pop-up store to distribute essential clothing, home goods, and more. It's free of charge to anyone impacted by the fires. This is going to be limited to 10 items per person while supplies last, and those is for those affected by the fires. Now, the items that are going to be there are apparel, which is everyday wear, sleepwear, undergarments, socks, and footwear for children, women, and men. There'll be bedding, such as comforters, sheets, and pillows, home goods, various items there, and accessories such as belts, purses, beauty, and duffel bags, and luggage. Again, it's February 8th, Saturday, February 8th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. while supplies last. And this will be at the Macy's Incorporated LA Distribution Center. This is going to be at 15541 East Gale Avenue in the City of Industry. Okay.
So don't be showing up to the Macy's down on South of Lake thinking that they're participating in the event, because they are not. We just told you right now that it's going to be in the City of Industry. So go flood their parking lot with your gatherings.
Yeah, and don't go to the mall either.
Don't go to nowhere else. Don't show up in Topanga Canyon talking about they said they was participating, because they are not.
No, they are
Pay
not.
attention to reading is fundamental.
Yes, indeed. And the last one for today is Dina Heal's Wellness Center, Karma Clinic. This is with Dr. Elena Esparza. It says join Dina Heals for a free 2-day wellness event offering massage, acupuncture, sound healing, counseling services, and more for Eaton Fire affected community members. This is going to be Saturday, February 8th. You got to really plenty of time for this Saturday. There's a lot going on. This is going to be from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., but this will also be on Sunday, February 9th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is going to be at the Paseo Outdoor Mall, 300 East Colorado Boulevard, number 151. Now, they do say reserve your complimentary wellness session below. And for Saturday, it's tinyurl.com/karma, Karma clinic. And then on Sunday, it's tinyurl.com/karma, Karma clinic sun. Okay. So that's what we have for today for all the announcements and such. So we bring it back here.
Okay, I got one more announcement.
Bring it on.
All right. Here's the deal. Giving out free meals, and I can't seem to put this up here for some reason. Oh, there it is.
Oh, there we go. Ooh,
So,
yeah.
Doolin's and World Central Kitchen have been partnering up with all of the various different food spots. So Doolin's has done it. Hotville Chicken has done it. So right now, behind the old Bill's Chicken spot, in case you guys don't know where Washington and Mentor is, we all know where the old Bill's Chicken spot was on Washington. Well, they're blessing everybody up until tomorrow night, Monday through Friday, starting at 5. It usually goes from like 5 to 8, 5 to 9 with meals, hot meals. They'll give you 2 to 3 meals per carload. Or if you got 4 people in the car, they'll give you 4. But don't be greedy with it. But if you do know people that can't get to the spot, why don't you pick up a meal for them?
Great idea.
And drop it off to them. You know, you never know how this might help somebody else. So that is one thing. You know, we got one more thing we bring up before we bring in our special guest. And that is, I'm going to give some special shouts out to the people who come in on Instagram. So starting with Jane Reese Wilkins, and then Jerry. Scott Sutter joined today. Hey, Scott.
Guido, what it do?
Ireland 8077 and Logan Amir have joined. Glow Nicole, how you doing? Trina, hey girl.
Trina.
Glow Nicole again. Capson Noop. I don't know who that is, but it's got to be somebody. I can't see the screen because it's real little. So, but thank you guys for joining on Instagram. You know, we're trying to broadcast everywhere we can. So, without further ado, we don't want you to be held in suspense. We got the man, the myth, the legend, Marcus Betts. We about to bring him onto the stage. What's happening, brother?
How y'all doing, man?
There he goes with that voice. He got that.
He's got his radio voice on today, and so what we're going to do is we're going to listen to the smooth sounds of jazz.
That's right. Hey, welcome,
Oh
Marcus, man.
man,
I'm so glad you were able to make it. Um,
thank you.
man, this is awesome. Marcus's family to me. Um, and it was just really a pleasure to be able to have you on here. I hate the circumstances, obviously, but definitely wanted you to kind of give, give your perspective, kind of share your story on what's going on. And we did talk um, uh, a number of times about some unique things to possibly think about should anyone encounter this kind of situation again, and that might be something we can talk about as well. But hey, man, how you doing? Where are you guys in this particular stage of the process, and what's happening?
Okay, so morning everybody, and
Morning.
hello Altadena, beautiful Altadena. Um, where we're at in the process, insurance is doing great.
Oh, good.
I feel we're probably one of the fortunate ones. And that's a testament to my parents with regards to having a 48-year-old policy in place.
Damn.
Um, so so yeah, major kudos to mom and dad for having that all in place. And so Allstate is our insurance. They've been great. We're almost done with the process in a way. We pretty much need to just wait on the clearing. We learned just the other day that phase two is where they'll do ours, because I learned that if you have a basement or let's say, I believe, hidden storage areas or things like that, they can't do a phase one. Um, so we now have to wait till phase two for them to do it all in one shot, basically. Um, and for safety purposes, right? Because they don't know
Hmm.
where propane tanks are and those types of things. Because pretty much the whole house, two-story house, is in the basement. So in essence, you have 3 floors in the basement, pretty much
Wow.
ground level or below ground level.
Yeah, that's the first time we heard anything about that. That's good
Yeah,
information as well. I wonder how many. Do you know of many other homes in the area that have the kind of same setup as you guys, with a basement and such?
not sure, but I know there were a lot of like bomb shelters and stuff like that from the
Uh-huh.
time that the houses were built. And so if those bomb shelters were directly underneath the house versus in the backyard or things like that, they may be coming across the same situation. So
Wow.
it's a waiting game for us. We did sign up for phase one was for everybody, but we were anticipating having phase one uh, kind of proceeding. And then we received a link yesterday that you can zoom into your property and it'll give you the status. And so ours was purple and it indicated something about phase two. And then I went to the definition on that same link. It defines everything. And it indicated that we need to wait till phase two because of the basement, for safety purposes. So that's something that if you have a basement, just know that your property is not going to be going through a phase one. So you're going to, in essence, be skipped over.
Okay. Now, because of that, it gets to phase two quicker? Do you think, or
So I'm hoping that, I'm hoping what they're doing is by block, at
hmm
least by block, that they're doing these phases. So I think that they just identified that we had a basement. And
okay,
so they skipped over us. But then when they go back to do the phase two, they're going to do it along with the rest of the block. So we're
okay,
just kind of put on pause for right now until we get to the rest of the block. I'm assuming the rest of the block gets to the phase two part.
Yeah,
very
that's what
good.
they were saying is that the whole block has to be on board before they even do the block.
So you've been in communication with the block, and that everybody's going to opt in. Is that the case
Yeah,
for the
so
most part?
so I actually created a group chat for all the neighbors on our block
Nice.
for us to kind of communicate. For one, check in on each other. We're all over the place. We used to see each other across the street, walking up and down the street and stuff. So this was a way to kind of just stay intact and encourage each other, along with pass on this information. So I shared that link with everybody on the thread yesterday, so that everybody understands where we stand as a block.
Oh, that's dope.
That's the new
So-
gangsters. You're handling your own block now.
That's right, man. That's right. Home base.
I mean, you definitely have to.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's what we got to do. We got to do that to make sure we don't have these investors taking over blocks. You
yeah,
know, you got to protect your block and stay unified and as one to avoid defections and stuff that allow the developers to come in and do what they want to do.
yeah.
And we don't want that.
Yeah, we don't want
doesn't
Santa
look like-
Clarita
Yeah, we don't need any gates or anything like that.
or the same houses looking the same.
or the same houses with just different colors. We don't need. We want Altadena to go back to where Altadena stands.
Yeah,
Mhm.
unique and diverse. That's where it
Yes.
is.
With the same taxes as Prop 13 promised with a new house.
Yeah.
Right. That's
Definitely.
true.
It's the only way you could get away with it.
Yep.
So, what do you attribute besides can you attribute besides the insurance policy that your parents had, anything else to the kind of smooth process that you kind of experienced? Was it, I mean, were you able to get information pretty easily, or just kind of flowed right for you? Everything made sense?
Yeah, again, a tribute to my mom. She the same day of the fire or on the 8th, she was on the line with the insurance. So it was like we was probably like number 1 or number 2 in the queue to
I believe
get things rolling. Yeah, so she was about business, and that definitely is playing a role as to where we are in the process. But along with that, just like you were saying, Jamal, we have a family thread and stuff as well that we share information, and that information is being passed on around the family, and I think is really helping everybody to kind of stay on track, stay motivated, encouraged, and be aware of the resources that are out there. And there's a lot of resources out there.
Oh yeah, I'm only touching on a little bit. I mean, I'm getting some from our thread. I'm getting some from other people that send it to me. But something that you mentioned about the thread, I think that is very important. It's part of to me, the mental healing. I think is very useful, and I would suggest folks, at least get on a thread or at least with a couple other people, so you can check in on one another. You can send some words of encouragement and even ask some
Yeah.
questions in kind of a safe environment. Not that this is a unsafe place, but sometimes it's you want to be with familiar people. So I think that's a good thing. If you're not on a thread or in a group chat, you might want to get on one just to keep in contact. Because I know personally, even though I wasn't directly affected in terms of my home, just with the friends and family that were affected, just knowing that I can see everybody communicating back and forth and telling all this good information and sharing how they're doing, it was helpful for not just me but everybody involved.
Yeah, it's definitely a plus to have a thread. I agree that everybody should be on a thread with either their block or family, to just check in. You got to check in. Everybody's going to be wondering how you're doing, and this is a way that you can kind of share how you're doing all at once, as opposed to being tied up on phone calls, because time is something so precious right now, right? To get through the different donation lines or to get through the different insurance adjusters and meetings and stuff like that. As on top of that, work, right? So a thread is just something that is very, very accessible and user friendly in some way that you can check in with your family and friends or both, and just let everybody know how you're doing, where you stand, what's going on, what you need. So definitely get on a thread. It's therapeutic as well. Of course, we talk about each other and laugh and everything, and that's all healthy. That's all healthy and all good.
That's right. That's really true. Something else I had heard was, and it was a suggestion that we affected everybody, journal. Now, I know a lot of people don't like to write, but sometimes if you can actually get your daily experience on paper, you'd be surprised how therapeutic it is. And then, you never know what may happen when you reflect back on it at a later date. It might turn into a book or, just something you can share with your kids, or something along those lines. I've seen several locations that have mentioned that is a good thing to do.
You know, I went through a workshop with my job, and they had suggested be able to sleep better, to write what's on your mind before you go to bed. And I have yet to do it, but I need to because I don't get a lot of sleep. But I believe I can see where that would be helpful. If you just get it out on paper, it's my mind that doesn't let me sleep right now. It's my mind that wakes me up every couple hours, and just it's not turning off. So I do need to commit to doing that because I do believe that that's going to be helpful, like you said as well. Down the line, who knows what it turns into, but initially I need to get more sleep.
Yeah, I'm the same way. This show is my therapy. I mean, this is the only way I can get through is by seeing to make sure that other people are getting the vital resources they need every day, and bringing people on as yourself to talk about the thing, because people need to know what the process is. They don't know. It's the first time this happened to any of us in our lives.
Right.
50 years I've been in out of the music.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, now we know to build the houses more fortified. Precautions are going to be in place. There's a whole lot of things that are going on, but it's all new to us. There's groups coming in out of nowhere, calling people up, asking them to buy their properties when that's totally illegal. There's a lot of class action lawsuits going on. You don't know which lawyer to go to. The more people he gets under his belt, the less of a settlement you will receive. I mean, everyone's going to get something from Southern California.
Yes. Right.
That's not even an issue. You don't even need a lawyer for that. They're going to have their own class action lawsuit that'll probably give everyone a certain amount of money. Now, you make the choice what you want to do, but I'm listening to people like yourself that's going through the process, and I want to see what the end results are. That's the only thing we all ask for, because this is new to you, and you sharing it with us allows us to get it out to the audience to let them know that, hey, it's not easy, but sometimes, taking your thing to the media, taking your thing, and because it makes the insurance companies be very careful with you, because now you're in the spotlight. And I think everyone should go that route. Get your loved one on the media and make sure that your insurance company is not giving you that first lowball offer. And it might be another offer that's out there that you can actually get. You can say, hey, well, what are the other options? This is all the information we need to learn. So thank you, Marcus. We really appreciate all this information.
I do think that everybody needs to understand what their policy limits are, because you can, depending on your policy, you could feel it's a low ball. But if your policy is only going to allow a certain amount, it is what it is. So you may not, in essence, be lowball. It's just your policy. So if you haven't learned it, if you haven't really dug down and deep into it, do so you know exactly what to be expecting or what's the max to expect. Because if you just comparing it to, next door neighbor or the property value, that's not what it is. It can be less depending on what your policy states. So you got to just understand that.
That's a great point.
There's a bunch of buckets.
Yeah, because we've had multiple conversations about do you opt in? Do you opt out? Is it actually free? Who's being billed at the end and all that stuff? But it really boiled down to folks really understanding their policy, right? Because now's the time they're really going to look at it. And I'm hoping we all, or at least the vast majority of people, become far more aware of what's going on with our home policies, even the auto policies, because we were having a conversation last night about how some cars that were burnt were being towed away and the owners were being billed. Well, your homeowner's insurance isn't going to cover that. It turns out that it's supposed to potentially be covered by your auto insurance, but you got to look at that insurance as well to see what's covered, because a lot of people just have liability if they already own the car outright and what have you. So just to be aware, right? To educate yourself on your full situation. That's a great point.
The beautiful thing, though, as we spoke about this yesterday, is that I've been at a few of these town halls, and even though your insurance might not cover that, FEMA, once you fill out your application for them, they will cover what happened with the natural disaster. So if your car did get towed, that should be covered by them because they ask you, do you have any personal expenses? Do you have any business expenses? I know when they called me, they asked me simple questions trying to hurry up and get me off the phone. Now be careful about this, people, because this is what they do. They'll go, did you have a toaster? Yeah. Did you have a refrigerator? Yeah. Did you have a microwave? Yeah. What else did you lose? Oh, a bike and stuff like that. Okay, we'll have somebody call you. I said, oh, I got an itemized list, sir. And they go, okay, and they hang up. Now I thought, okay, I said it, he didn't acknowledge it. But when you go to the disaster assistance portal and you log in under your FEMA number, once you log in and fill it out, and after they give you that call, they'll have 5 letters right there that you can download. And one of those letters says, please send us an itemized copy of your losses. Now, mind you, people, it's not hard to do. Go to every place you ever ordered. Half of y'all order at Amazon and Best Buy. I don't think and Walmart. Ain't nobody else ordering from no place else. How many people you know order from specialty stores? They all have the receipts. I bought 2 bikes from this company. They're not. I called them up and said, "Can you send me the receipts? My stuff got burned up in the fire." And they was like, "Oh, no problem. Send me the receipts. The PDFs." I'm sending all of that in because I've already went up there and filmed where everything was to begin with. This used to be my server right here. This was my computers. This is my printers. Here's my bike burnt up. Here's my massage chair burnt up. Here's my inversion table burnt up. Itemize everything. Make sure you pull those receipts, even if you got to go call customer service for the company you bought it from. They have a copy. Yeah. If you did, if you bought something from me, I got a copy. So,
otherwise, they're going to give you the cheapest everything.
Oh, they will give you. They will be in Walmart. What's that? Huffy. The outlet store. It always got a little ding on the side, but you can still make toast. They only make toast on one side, but did you really need the other side?
On Wednesdays.
On Wednesdays at 4:00 a.m.
And only wheat bread.
No pumpernickel. It kicks it right on out and shuts down, and we're not covering that.
Yeah, exactly. You got to reboot. You got to start it back up. Unplug, plug it back up.
Yeah, that's key, man. That's a great point. I do have if we can just transition, if you don't mind, to obviously most folks are focusing on the property they just, that was burnt and they're trying to rebuild, but they got to live someplace right now. How's your experience been with the temporary housing situation? And do you have any insight for anyone kind of going through that process?
Yeah, so we're learning still. We learned something new again yesterday. For one, if you have a realtor helping you find rental properties, at least with Allstate, you do not need to use the person that they will assign to help you find the property. In essence, what that person will do is sit back, let you find it, and then when you send them that information, as soon as they touch it and forward it on to get approved, they're getting let's say a finder's fee, a commission or something, right? Man. So, and that's what we just learned yesterday. We just learned it yesterday on the phone. So if you have a realtor, and that's probably the better way to go, because they have those connections, that can speed things up and get you to see things. But get that done. It's a challenge though. It's a marathon in itself. There's just to find something that's gonna accommodate you for the long haul. Where we are right now, this is temporary and it will suffice until we find something for the long haul. But we know this is not going to be able to handle for the long haul. 2-3 years, this is not going to do it. But yeah, we can tighten up or whatever for right now to make it last, make it happen. But in essence, we're still looking. We have a realtor looking for us. Have a couple meetings tomorrow to see a couple places. And just know that the closer to Pasadena, the more frustrating and discouraging it's going to be when you go to an open house or whatever, and you're there with like 13 to 15 other families looking for that same property to be their long-term home. So I did that once and I hated that experience. And I was like, I don't need to be Pasadena. I can be Arcadia. I could be, South Pasadena or, just any distance further away from Pasadena. Of course, everybody wants Pasadena, right? I mean, that's as close to
Home.
your familiar routes and everything that it can be.
Yep.
So as you branch out and go out just a little bit, it's going to be less traffic trying to get those homes. So I would just suggest, if you don't want to get frustrated and discouraged, and you can really kind of revisit things while you're sitting there waiting for the realtor or the homeowner, because everybody's sharing their stories and you're hearing all these stories and
which one is going to be the most tearjerker?
yeah, and then you're like, man, you don't really want to compete against 13, 14 to 20 other families that are in the same boat as you. Right. Like that in itself is kind of, I didn't like it. So we'll go a little further out and see what we can do. Like I said, where we're at right now, it will suffice, but it's just not the long-term place.
So
yeah, I'm in Santa Clarita right now, and trust me, that's 45 miles one way.
Yeah.
And 60 miles to go to LA if I need to go, which I do need to go to today. So I feel you. Try to find Glendale, Eagle Rock, anything that's close to Pasadena that you can get without, because in Pasadena, first of all, they're gonna be price gouging. That same house that was going for 4 is gonna go for 8. You're gonna get 4,000 or 5,000 a month from FEMA. You're gonna have to kick in the other 3. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
truly.
Yeah, and not knowing how long you're gonna be in this property.
Yes.
You don't want to go on the high end of what you're looking for price wise. You want to find something below that for sure, because if you got to stretch it, you'll have the funds to do so. But if you go high, you're not gonna be able to stretch or flex, and then you're gonna be out of pocket.
So to that
you
point,
don't have money for your building and stuff.
Yeah, to that point, I it sounds like, because I've heard this from many people, that there's 2 kind of types of thinking. Number one is for temporary housing. Some people are trying to get the equivalent of what they had before, and they're forgetting that this is temporary. You're going to be moving back to your home, especially those who are going to rebuild, of course. And you really just need a place to survive for the next couple of years, preferably save some money. And then others who are thinking that way initially, right? Look, we're not going to have the luxuries of what we had before. Let's buckle down for a little bit, save a couple of dollars, because we are going to get some assistance. And then when we go back to the house, maybe we can put some of that money we saved to some special features of the house. And then once we get back, we'll be good to go. So it sounds like the consideration should be more really, just remember this is temporary. You don't need all the amenities that you had before. You just need the essentials, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. And I think that the more seasoned the homeowner is, the more years that they are tied to that property, the harder it is for them to accept something less. Like they want what they had.
Especially if you got a big family like yours.
Yeah. So they want what they had, and like you said, it's hard for them to shift their reality that has been that for 48 years. Now they got to shift to just accepting, something that they don't even like, the yard, or the curb appeal. Right. It's a challenge. So what I would just suggest is try to have those conversations with them, and I would encourage those that have more seasoned Altadenians to have them kind of spearhead the home search, so that you're not just driving around getting frustrated being a driver.
Oh,
great point.
That's what I've heard from a friend of mine.
Right. I think we have the same friend. We've heard that, loud and clear, right?
Yeah.
So to that point, though, is one of those conversations when we're talking. I'm kind of shifting, but combining the two. this, along with mental health, is one of those considerations you should think about, I think, for our older community, because of the
Yeah.
fact that it's hard for everybody to wrap their head around this situation, right?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I would think that it's a little more challenging for those who were more ingrained in the community and have been disrupted at this particular point in time. So
Yeah.
I would, I would encourage folks to give a little bit more grace to those folks,
Hmm. Hmm.
and consider, really what they're going through as well. Not that you're not
Yeah.
going through the same thing, but it's a little different perspective for them, right?
Right. Right. And that's the challenge, right? That's the balancing act that you have when you're on multiple fronts mentally, right? And
Hmm.
and and but you do want to make sure that your elders are kind of, you got to check in with them. But when you check in with them, it's not, really on the phone. You want to do that physically, because you want to lay eyes on them and have that conversation, and kind of gauge how they're doing. We all know everybody's going to have bad days for sure. And to me, the the older our community is, the more they watch the news, like really
Mhm.
stuck with the
Oh
news.
gosh,
and
yeah.
and and that in itself is torturous. I mean, I tried to beg my mom to stop watching the news, and she couldn't do it. She just told me stop asking her, because she's not going to.
Tell her to watch our
Just straight
show.
up.
We got
Yeah,
episodes
I'm gonna do that, man, because
because
I'm telling
we're
you, I
actually
just
giving you
couldn't handle it.
information that can
Yes,
help you.
yes, yes. She will enjoy this. I am gonna recommend that she check it out. Because
Thank you.
it that in itself is, like I said, torturous for them. And
Yeah,
they don't realize it. That's something that they kind of did anyway, right? Watch news.
yeah, with the
But
politics and
but
everything.
The
yeah, but
world's
in
gonna
this
end.
but in this right now, it's just really having you replay that day, these weeks,
Yeah, it's so much
back
more
over
Over
personal
and
and
over
now.
and over
over.
again.
So much
Yeah,
more personal now. So the impact is
yeah,
just magnified.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, yeah. But we got to check up on them. We got to make sure that they're staying on track. Support them, however, patience. We got to have patience. Give them grace. Uh, I'm known for just saying I'll be back, and that's where I'll go get my time to kind of decompress from kind of managing all of these different fronts.
sure.
My kids, my wife, my mom, me. So that's my time. Is I'll go buy a pack of gum, you know, just to be by myself and do what I need to do, whether it's yell, scream, cry, call somebody, just to have that time for me, and
Yeah,
I suggest everybody do that, because, hey, we got to get into something that's going to allow us to endure this, right? This journey is just beginning. It's only been 4 weeks, man. And it
I
feels
know
like
it
it's
seems like
like,
it's a year.
yeah, man. So just imagine, if you don't get something in place now, you're gonna make it.
yeah.
No,
It's gonna be a
no.
You're
challenge.
gonna drive yourself crazy
And
trying to make it.
I bet you that you guys are the ones that's holding down your parents right now. Because without
Yes,
y'all being there, they would have left. They was like, I
yes,
can't do it. I'm
yeah,
going to Rancho
yeah.
Inglewood. Inland Empire,
Vegas.
wherever,
Vegas.
just to
Yeah,
know that
yeah,
it ain't gonna happen again. I'm gonna move into one of these
yeah,
stuff. You can see this neighborhood I'm in right now. All the houses are seeing down into other houses. It's like hills and hills and
yeah,
hills of houses.
yeah,
And I wake up every
yeah,
day and I don't know where I'm at. It's like because I'm not used to it and my routine's tore up.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
So
That's the challenge, is what is normalcy, right? Like, how is that? We have to redefine it for the next
uh, it's a new
half of our
normalcy.
life.
Right.
Like, we got to redefine it. But how do we do that? How do we
Yep.
do that?
mhm.
And what does that look like? We don't know. What normalcy is right now will not be what normalcy is a year from now, for sure.
Nah.
And then 2 years from now, so, but we gotta install some things, put in place some things that we check in on ourselves with mental health. you know, and we give ourselves the time to kind of expel, you know, what's on our mind and stuff. So like that, like what I was saying earlier, I am gonna have to start writing things down, you know, at night, just to see if that's gonna help me get some more sleep. I can't sleep,
Yeah, you
you
got to
know, and
figure
I
out a
know
way to get
many
some.
many are like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, indeed. So, on the opposite end of that spectrum of taking care of the elders, I know you have two daughters, and I'm just curious from their vantage point, and how they have been dealing with this situation. And do you have any insight also or suggestions on helping the kids? Because I know they need it as well.
Yeah, so you know, my kids, you know, there's a lot of life lessons in this event that occurred, this tragedy. There's a lot of life lessons, being humble,
Hmm.
and being grateful, knowing what blessings are, knowing what good karma is. But the kids are, you know, we are encouraging them to, you know, speak to mental health professionals, uh, because you know they may not want to open up to us, but we just what we want for our kids is just however they need to get things off their chest, whoever they feel comfortable in doing so with, do it,
Okay.
do it. I mean, these children in the last 4 years with COVID, school shootings,
Yeah.
and now this, like we went 50 years without having none of that. They did this in 4 years, right? Beauty of it is they're gonna be super adults
Hmm.
because of their experiences and their life lessons. But right now, they are going through a lot. They're processing too much for a kid, you know. So trying to do things, get them out the house and things like that, but also identifying when they had enough and when we need to back off. It's important too, you know. We all gonna have bad days,
Yeah.
and we got to be able to identify when the kid's having a bad day and just say, okay, maybe I came across a little too tough. Let me back off. Let me come back a little while. You know, when the time is a little better, a little more comfortable. Because hey, man, can't imagine what these kids are really thinking, man. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel that it's unfair to them, but they don't know what my childhood was. But I know it's unfair to them what they've gone through these last 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
You
Compared to
know,
how we grew up, this is so complex and
yeah,
challenging, and yeah,
yeah.
this is
Yeah.
wild.
So like
What?
my kids in the donation lines, my oldest, she could only do it for so long, and then she just I'm done. Like she just like you can see her just really like
Checking
downward
out.
spiral.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we just had to start leaving her. You know what? You can just stay in the car, or you know what? You don't have to go. We'll see what they got, and we'll get something for you. You know, because it's I mean it's hard for adults, man, standing in lines. I mean it's a humbling experience, and it's something you do because you got to do it,
You
right?
have to.
Like
Yes.
Yeah,
you had nothing,
you need
so
that
you just
water and
had
you
to do it.
need hygiene,
Yeah,
brother.
Clothes
yeah,
and yeah.
you got to do it. And before kids, it's just like, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. So we thankfully have kind of slowed down on the donations. You know, we explain to our kids, look, we're gonna get what we need. And at that point, we'll slow down. We don't need to go overboard and try to fulfill everything we want. That'll come in time and when we have room for it, you
Sure.
know, but
Right.
our
That'd be
needs
like
was
your
what we need to
Christmas
address.
when you move
Yeah,
back in the
yeah,
house. Then you get all the
yeah,
wardrobes and everything.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
you first of all, you don't want to be moving from place to place trying to carry like you're moving
Oh
out of your
man.
house to begin with.
Because let me tell you, I know who the mover is in Jamal's family, and he knows who the mover is in my family, and that's
Yes.
just more work for us.
Right, right, right. Don't get me started. I
Hey,
can't even claim bad back.
but I got you, brother. You know I got you.
Yeah,
Yep.
I know you
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
do.
for sure. For
For
sure.
sure.
So more
But yeah.
specifically for the kids, because I know we got to take care of them. I know For example, your youngest was really affected by the burning of her school. How is
Yeah.
that? How is that going to happen? And, well, full disclosure, there was Rosebud Academy, and fortunately, they're going to be at Don Benito. Are they there now?
They start on Tuesday,
Okay,
Tuesday the
cool.
11th.
Okay, for
Yeah.
those who
So,
didn't
matter of
know,
fact,
yeah.
and I'm probably going past my boundary, but this weekend they're request or asking for volunteers to kind of help get the modules cleaned up and ready for the kids on Tuesday. Um,
At Don
I'm
Benito.
sure they're not gonna. Yep, at Don Benito. I'm sure they're not gonna turn anybody away, because this is something that kind of the switch was turned on just a couple days ago,
Hmm.
and they're asking for people to show up Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, to help get them in preparation for them to start back to school on Tuesday.
Can you write
It's
something
going to
up?
be eight. Yeah.
No, go ahead
I
and say
mean,
what you're
say
gonna
it,
say
say
though.
it, but I just want you to write something up for. I'll post it up again
Okay.
for
Okay.
tomorrow.
Okay. So yeah, so there's going to be 8 modules initially, with the opportunity to expand to 11. But initially, the 8 is going to be, we're going to be a little crammed, but it's going to be back in Pasadena the last
Yes.
couple weeks, to get the kids back into a curriculum and back around each other. There was a organization in LA that kids were being bused to. It wasn't the best idea. I mean, not best idea. It wasn't the best arrangements, but it did the kids some good. I mean, when you picking the kids up from them coming back on the bus, I think some of them really like taking the bus ride
I
too.
bet they did.
But which we as kids, that was a normalcy. But
Mhm.
when they would come back, you can see that they had a good day, and that's what we need. We need the kids to have good days, be around their friends and stuff. They don't need to be around us, because what are they listening to around us? They're listening to us talk about adjustments,
Insurance, this, that,
insurance,
phase
and yeah,
one.
yeah. Whose insurance is not doing them right? How much we spent this week or this month, and all that stuff is adult stuff. So the time for them to be with kids is perfect. I'm very thankful for the administration, in doing what they did. I mean, reality is a lot of them lost their properties too. So they're on the school front and the home front trying to get things done. So my heart goes out to them as well, because man, uh, you know,
S- Totally selfless.
I know what it's like I know what it's like just to be losing the house, but lose the house and the school, any administrator is gonna look at the kids as their kids. So they're not just, like worried about home, they're worried about their kids too.
Yeah.
So that aspect too, like they've been through a lot. I know they've been doing some mental health things also. They've offered mental health for the kids. And we've encouraged our daughter to sign up, it can't hurt. Um, so definitely, what she's gone through, we don't talk about it a lot, honestly, because she hasn't opened up about it. And she's tough, but she does want to talk to somebody. And so we were thankful for that. We were thankful.
Man, that's awesome. That is awesome. There was something pretty cool that happened for the Rosebud the kids
Yeah.
recently. You want to share about that?
Yes. So, and I think I have the last name right now. Shawnee O'Neill Henderson, Shaq's ex-wife, but she's now married to a pastor, I believe. Uh, they last night, they closed down Dave and Buster's for 3 hours from 4 to 7, and they hosted uh, basically an all you can eat, all you can play event for the family, for the kids, the students, and the families.
And the faculty,
It
I would
was
assume too, right?
and the faculty as well. Yes, and definitely was awesome. And I was telling the administration, they were like, "This is good." I said, we all needed this, because it's just be able to see the kids playing and laughing, and for that moment, nothing was going on. You know what I'm saying? Nothing was going on. Everything was about the right now, and the right now was fun and no worries, and just laughs, smiles, like what a kid should be having.
Mhm.
So it
Absolutely.
was an awesome experience. Major kudos to Shani. Uh, she didn't have to do it. So it just tells you what kind of heart she has. She doesn't live in Pasadena, Altadena, I don't believe. So for her to reach out and to do that, it says a lot about her. I have a lot of respect for her, a lot of appreciation for what she did last night.
That is so awesome. So I have a question kind of related to something that Brian had mentioned before, and he was suggesting that you get on the media and tell your story. Now, I'm not saying this wouldn't have happened without it, but given the fact that Sean Brown actually was interviewed by Gail and had that piece, how much, I mean, how much of that do you think affected you having this event yesterday, and potentially having more resources to for Rosebud, and then also you and the family, you and Ed and your mom and Aunt Paula and CJ and other folks were interviewed by um, Strahan, and I forget the other lady's name.
Robin Roberts.
Yeah, Robin. How much of an impact do you think that could provide in terms of shining a light on Altadena and and Altadena specific situation?
Well, I think look, we have a responsibility. The three of us and everybody else on here, we have a responsibility to make sure the legacy of Altadena rises, stays in place, is the foundation of Altadena, and doesn't get scraped up, pushed away, and bulldozed or whatever. That legacy, everybody needs to be doing whatever they need to, whatever they can, whatever streams or whatever, talk about Altadena. As we know, Altadena is like no other city. The vibe. If you've ever lived in Altadena, I guarantee you, wherever you live now, is nothing like Altadena. Whether it's your childhood or the current times, it's just unique. But we gotta keep that legacy in place. We gotta shine the light on the legacy. That's what makes Altadena special. That's what made our childhoods unique. Like I honestly wish that there was more cities like Altadena, because I'm certain that if Altadena's vibe, if that heartbeat was the heartbeat of the majority of these cities and towns across the nation, man, we'd be in a way better place
You
in
think?
all aspects.
You think?
In all aspects. We know that not everybody thinks the same, but we respect it. We
Mhm.
respect everybody's uniqueness,
They have a
individualism.
yard.
Yeah, yeah. And,
Yeah.
we just respect it, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
But that needs to be infectious, and so we need to make sure Altadena is that beacon, to show, to continue to show these other cities how it can be done. It's been done my whole childhood, my whole lifetime. So it's proven that it can be done.
Yeah, it's
We
definitely
just
possible.
gotta, yeah. It just needs to be, uh, you know, infectious. It needs to catch on, and people need to really, you know, learn from Altadena.
Yeah, I
It's
think
it's it's important.
I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. The more
Julie,
see,
I see Julie. Let me tell you, Julie. I see
yeah, yeah.
Julie Esnard. Ah, Julie Esnard, Central Altadena Little League. She is my baseball coach. She's my baseball coach for Carl Sporting Goods. Hi, Julie. So good to see you on here. Uh, she's part of the legacy. She knows about the legacy of my mom and dad.
Mhm.
I was just talking to somebody about the legacy of my dad at Farnsworth Park. My dad, my dad created the first mound for Farnsworth Park.
That's right.
In my little league, we pitched on flat ground until one day. Well, I think it was after like an all-star game or something, and I was a pitcher, and I'm trying to come off the mound, and I have no control, no technique, no nothing, because that's not what I'm used to.
Right.
And from that, my dad took it upon himself to design a mound out of fiberglass, and it was heavy and big, bulky, and we stored it in the men's restroom whenever it was not being used. But from that, it gave us a even playing field with regards to now when we go to another park, we're not having to adjust. I mean, every mound you adjust a little, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a shock. And that is something like the legacy. Back to the legacy. I honor my dad and I appreciate my dad like really investing, not just in me as a pitcher, but investing in the little league, all the pitchers of the Central Altadena, to give them a level playing field so we can compete at the highest level and have the best team win. So I'm just so glad to see and the rolling snack truck. Julie, thank you. My mom, my dad. We didn't have a concession stand. We had a catering truck, and that catering truck, when it was not in service, was in front of our house. And we had everything. My dad was the president of the little league. My mom was treasurer and concessions. So it's just like that's that legacy, man. This is what I'm
Yes.
talking about.
Need so
That
much more of it.
man, I mean, everybody's parents was community based. So we got to be out there talking about how they were part of that community. And they are the foundation of Altadena. That's when Altadena became Altadena, is through our parents when we were kids.
Yeah,
Man,
going
that's
over to
powerful.
everybody's houses for Thanksgiving. That was my favorite.
Yeah, hey
Going
man,
to all your friends'
Hey.
house. She make the
Yeah,
best stuffing,
man.
but she make the best sweet potato
Man.
pie.
man, I'm
And
telling
how
you,
small were the houses though back then? When now that
Little.
you're an adult and you think about it, it's like we
yeah,
had like 15, 20 or more in a 1-2 bedroom,
oh yeah,
one bath
oh
house
yeah,
or something crazy.
yeah, yeah. But
Gosh.
it didn't get as hot. It didn't get as hot because there was no heater and stuff.
Nah, because we didn't go out.
No
We was
central heat and
outside all the
stuff.
time.
We didn't open. Yeah. We was
Your
out
mama
there
said, "Get up
racing.
out of here."
Telephone pole.
Yep. Oh man, I remember that.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I like it. So you were mentioning about the uniqueness of Altadena, and this is definitely shining a light on it. But I want to let you guys know, and I know Brian can speak to this specifically, because I've experienced this from the time that I left high school and went to college and started talking about Pasadena, Altadena, my high school, and the stuff that we do, and the people that I've known since I was a kid. And I didn't live in Altadena my entire life. I was in Duarte for a little while and then came back, but there was still that connection. But when we talk about going back to the turkey tussle when I'm 30 years old, it's like, what? Was that your college? It's like, no, this is my high school. This is my city.
Right.
This is the people that I grew up
Right.
with, and we still get together, have fun, talk mess, and
Yeah.
are entertained. And we talk about how people have lived there. My friend is living in their parents' house, who was living in their or their grandparents' house, or they
Mhm.
bought a house next to their parents, and they just wanted to be in this community because it truly is a family. Yeah, not everybody
Right.
gets along, and there's issues
Right.
and this, that, and the other, but this
Hey,
is
that's
still
family.
a unique that right there. How about that? So this is just going to amplify that Altadena family, I will say Dina effect, right?
Mhm.
So to
Mhm.
your point, we definitely got to keep that light shined on it. And I would encourage anybody who was shy before in terms of getting on the camera and telling the story,
Yeah.
or getting in front of someone who's going to write a story about you, try to shake it off, fight through your
Yeah.
discomfort, and share
Yeah.
your story about this powerful
Yeah.
city and this
Yeah.
this beautiful community.
Yeah. It's
Man,
an
my thing
opportunity
is,
to really appreciate your parents and the legacy.
Mhm.
It's you want to leave that footprint, you know. And so, whatever opportunity I have to highlight what my upbringing was and the role that my parents played, I'm gonna do so because, hey man, we can learn from that. I've learned from it. I've modeled after my father in many ways, not
Oh
all
yeah.
of them. I mean, because he was a super dad, and I just don't know if if I could ever reach that level, but I'm trying. you
Yeah,
know, but it's something that the legacy's we gotta keep that in the forefront. We gotta make sure everybody knows where Altadena is rooted from, and it's our parents.
that's dope. Yeah, there's a couple other posts or comments he's gonna put up there that are really cool. If you don't mind, I kind of want to transition from. I know this is very positive kind of thing. We had a unique conversation about dealing with this kind of disaster, and in particular, evacuation.
Mhm. Mhm.
God forbid we have to go through this again. But you were sharing a couple unique things that I don't think folks considered when it comes to actually evacuating, and some things you
Yeah.
might want to do should this ever happen again. Do you mind sharing a couple of those things?
Yes, for sure. One thing I would suggest is, as of right now, make it something to do, within the next week. I mean, a lot of us, were forced to do it already, but whatever is the most important things that you need, put it in one centralized place and let everybody know where it's at that's in that household. So someone gets it. So someone grabs it on the way out. Don't assume someone else. I beat myself up a lot because I assumed that my mom was going to get certain things. And had it been in a centralized, all in one duffel bag or whatever, and keep it in the duffel bag. It's just gonna sit wherever it's gonna sit anyway. Keep it in a duffel bag so that you just gotta grab it and go. Not where you have to pack it up, you know, paperwork and all that stuff, pictures. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have those that are on display, but the ones that are like photo albums and stuff, if they mean that much to you, put it somewhere where you just grab it and go. On top of that, if there's a, you know, I experienced the morning of the 8th when I'm driving around checking on everybody's houses, uh, and there was not a lot of good stories, good endings. But what I did notice is that the gas was on at everybody's house. The gas was on, and if there's any like kind of risk of a fire, I would suggest learn where the gas main is at and how to turn it off. I
Good point.
I do I do feel that we we didn't by having the gas still on, it just prolonged the fire and it just aided in doing more destruction than it could have. I mean, so that I definitely would say, let's make sure we know how to turn off the gas and let's do so before we leave. If we have to evacuate, let's just turn it off. You know, it's easier to turn it back on if you got your house still.
Yeah, no doubt. Man, that's
Yeah,
great
that
points.
brings up another point with the lawsuits now. Southern California Gas might be in the loop
Hey man,
because
look,
they
I
knew
don't
that the gas
understand.
was on. They could have turned it off
Yeah,
just like the power could have been turned off.
yeah. Look, they can turn off the gas whenever you don't pay that bill.
Oh yeah, real
So I'm
easy.
sure they can turn off the gas for a whole damn city. And if they can't, you
Well, they
better
do
get
it
that
all the
information.
time. They do it all the time in emergencies.
Yeah.
Except
Just like they
So
turn off the power in emergencies.
yeah. Well, what we didn't need turned off was water.
Yeah, and
That's
exactly.
what didn't need
they didn't
turned
even
off.
have they didn't even have the barrels up by Rubio Canyon
They weren't
filled
filled
up
up.
with water.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whole nother conversation. We can go in a
Yeah.
whole different
Yeah.
direction with that one.
Yeah.
Right.
Golly. Yeah, that's crazy. And then something else you had also mentioned too, and I'm sure plenty of people did this, but just checking on your neighbors. Obviously, if it's
Yeah.
safe, to do so,
Right.
because there might be some folks who are either disabled or some of our elders who can't move
Yeah.
around very well. And I know you guys are a close-knit block in particular, so I'm
Hmm.
sure that went down already, but just something to consider. And again, God willing, we don't have
Yeah.
to go through anything like this again, but I think
Yeah.
we will all at the very least mentally be prepared a little better for
Hmm.
something like this,
Hmm.
and not and take it more serious, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't
Well,
think
what did?
a lot of people
No, go
expected
ahead.
to not go back to a house that was burned down.
No one expected this to have what happened. I mean, there's no way you can ever expect that.
Mm,
Um, but that was the beauty of Altadena, is that you knew your neighbors, right?
yeah,
You genuinely had an interest in their well-being as they had in yours, and so it was just a natural thing to be checking up on each other, you know. And thank God we did, right? Because we learned, or I learned, that my best friend's mom, who lives on Reaver Way, just 2 blocks up from us, he didn't get no warning. Her warning was me calling her, telling her, "Hey, we got a fire, and if we need to evacuate, I'm coming to get you." And that's what I did. So had I not come and got her, she didn't even know there was a fire going on, you know. And had I not went and got her, by the time she realized there was a fire, she could have been another casualty.
mm,
So
thank
that's
goodness
the
for you, man.
importance. That's the beauty of Altadena, for knowing your neighbors and being close knit. And that's the importance of checking up on your neighbors, because you don't want to leave anybody behind. And I'm so glad that I took her car, and her pet, and some clothes down to her sister's house by Muir.
Good.
And I did not know until a week or so later, when she posted something about her first warning about the fire was by me, and she named me. And I'm like, wow, like, I didn't know. I didn't know. But I'm glad that I in that moment, you have a lot of things going on, and I'm just glad that I was able to remember, and to just know unconsciously, subconsciously, to check on her and let her know what's going on. And she's here to talk about it, and we're at donation events to talk about it, to hug and embrace,
I know that's
and
right.
so she's one of my village moms,
Yeah, yeah,
so it was second nature, because hey, I got to check on her, like I knew she was there by herself, so it's just something I called my friend right away. Like, I got your mom, don't worry about it. And so that's what we do. That's what we do. That's Altadena, you know?
yes, yes. That is Dina
Yeah,
Love.
that's one of the problems that a lot of people have. I mean, we all got our different habits. People turn their phones off at night. Bad idea. Bad idea.
Yeah.
People turn off the wireless emergency alerts. They get their granddaughter to come turn this off my phone. I don't want to see this stuff.
Yeah.
All that little stuff is in place so that they can communicate with you and override anything that you're doing on your phone,
Yeah.
so that you can do it.
Yeah.
Now, we had a lot of complaints up near Fair Oaks and Palm that there weren't alerts sent. I can't attest to that, because when it happened, when the fire started, I was in Arcadia, and I started getting alerts as I was driving back to Pasadena, then to Altadena.
Right.
So I don't know who got what, but the next day it was no joke. And here we are today talking about it and trying to. It's like Walking Dead. The whole place is disastrous, and now you're just walking like a zombie, trying to figure out who to band with to make a home, to make a community.
Right.
It's like real life.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I'm telling you guys, I've replayed it in my mind a lot, because what you saw, what I saw, you can't capture that in a video or in a photo or anything. The on the ground experience is way worse than what you ever see on TV or anything. It's
No doubt.
way worse.
And I suggest everybody, if you can, you got to go through it to experience it. I know it'll be super painful for some compared to others, but you got to, because as gut wrenching as it is, it's one of those things. If that doesn't bolster an energy to really help even more so than what you already had, I don't know what would. I really don't,
Right.
because you
Right.
really wanted to see it restored bigger and better than it was
Yeah.
before. Because
Yeah.
I used to love just going up there, whatever I was doing, going up in Altadena. It just felt good.
I eat my lunch at
Yeah.
Farnsworth every day,
Yeah,
Yeah. Hey
looking
man,
down
let me
lake.
tell you. Yes, I've done that so many times, man. I would just I get off work early or I have time before, doing my daddy duties and I just take some time to myself and I do the exact same thing. I'll park right across from the rec hall and just look down lake
Look
and
straight
just
down lake.
enjoy it. Yeah,
Man, that's the best
yeah,
view on earth,
yeah.
especially if it's
And it
unless it's not
if it's,
overcast.
yeah, if it's clear.
right, right, right. But now, man, like you go up there and you can see all the way to
Clear through.
Pasadena,
You could
Yeah.
see too
all the way
far.
to Pasadena. Yeah, too far, too far.
Yeah, when you
See
It's
think
it,
Catalina
about
it's
how
the
you
Island
could
now.
see
craziest thing,
it.
man.
Right. Yeah, that's so
Crazy.
weird. It's crazy. No doubt. But I think having conversations like we've had today is definitely liberating. It's empowering. Like we've mentioned many a times, it's definitely therapeutic. Uh, and man, I can't thank you more, Marcus, for coming on
We
and
need you to
sharing.
come back because this is an ongoing saga,
Heck yeah.
and you're going to be going through a lot more, and it would be
Oh
helpful
yeah.
to. It's kind of therapeutic for you because you can vent your
Hmm.
story out
Yep.
and vent the
Yep.
processes and help other people be able to come on and relate and might even develop new communities because they're contacting you for this information. And if you do want anybody to contact you, where would they contact you at?
So you can contact me on my email address is marcus11bb@gmail. I am on Facebook as well. I don't really accept a lot of friends. My friends are my friends, honestly. But I have let my guard down a little bit with some Altadena members that I know from beautiful Altadena. Um, I've kind of backed off of that. But for the most part, Marcus11bb@gmail.
He's gonna
And you'll
correct
see me
that.
around town. You'll see me around town. And
Sorry.
I'm really not hard to find. We're the Betts family.
That's right.
So Betts and Jenkins. So I know all y'all somehow, some way. Maybe I don't know yet how, but I know y'all.
Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention a particular family member um, dynamic that we didn't address before. Obviously, we talked about you, we talked about the elders, parents, and the kids, but what about spouse? How are you guys collectively dealing with it, and how are you giving each other space to kind of deal with it individually as well?
So my wife and I, hey, when you guys got a good one, you know,
You know,
you have a good one. And I have a very excellent partner in crime, and we can read each other, so we know when we're having one of those moments where we just need a little time, little space, but we'll come back. But we do communicate. We talk. We allow each other to get it off our chest, and just listen. Because sometimes you're having a conversation or you want to talk to your spouse, and it's not to have that conversation really. It's just to get it off your chest. And it's important to be able to identify when it's that type of moment. And you can tell by just how you approach the conversation that, okay, this is one of those things that he's got a lot going on. He needs to just get it off. And,
vice
and
versa.
yeah, vice versa. And so it's important to be able to do that and identify that, because that's the healthy part of it, is to be able to get it off. Um, she's going through her regrets. We all have regrets from the fire. We all have something we remember after the fact, or we took for granted that we were just going to go back and get it if we needed to later, and we didn't have that opportunity. And she's going through that regret, as we all are. I didn't get everything I wanted. I will say that I did grab something my last time up at the house that means the world to my mom and to me. My dad's shadow box flag from he was a Marine,
Yep.
and when he passed, the flag that was on his coffin, we still have that to this day. It's in my mom's room, and it's something that I got from the house at 3:30 in the morning when the last time I hosed down the house in the shrub, and that was the last thing I did before I left was grab that and the wind chime. The wind chime is outside. Dad is still talking to us through that, and we have the flag in mom's room. So when we return to the house, dad's returning to the house too.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. Was there one more family heirloom that you got too? The family
Oh yeah,
the
my grandmother, my mom's mom, family Bible. My mom had never seen it. My
wow.
grandmother used to live with us. Yeah, she never saw it. She never saw it. They never opened it until I opened it and showed her. I said, "Did you know?" She said, "Where'd you get this from?" And my grandmother lived with us after my grandfather had passed. He passed in the 70s. I want to say like 77, 78. And so my grandmother, my dad and mom had my grandmother move up with us. And so the room that my wife and I was living in used to be hers. And I happened to come across it years ago, but I just put it up. But that night of the fire, when I was packing up my photo albums and stuff, I threw that in there. And then I had never opened it either. So when I opened it, it actually, in my grandmother's handwriting, it says it's the Jenkins family Bible. And then on the next pages, it has the lineage. It shows all the kids. You know, it shows when my grandmother and grandfather got married and who their parents were. And my mom had never seen that until after. What I did is I set it up in her room out here where we're staying.
Hmm.
I set it up in her room along with a program from my dad's services and a program from my aunt's, my dad's sister's services. That's other things that I just happened to grab. And I set it on a table, and she stumbled across it and asked me where'd I get it from, and I told her. I said from her room, and then made things better. You know,
Yeah.
made things better for her to have piece of her mom, piece of her
Husband.
husband, and it did me some good to be able to provide that for my mom.
Man,
Like
that's
for
outstanding.
her to find some, you know, comfort.
Yeah, I think that was beautiful. When you told me that, man, that hit me to the heart, man. That was awesome because a lot of us don't have, that kind of thing anymore. Where there's the family Bible. For those that aren't
Yeah,
aware, that don't know, that's how we used to know the family tree. There was no
right.
ancestry and me and all this kind of stuff back in the
Yeah,
day. Everything was kept there, and in fact, you didn't even have. That was another way that you can record births. You didn't have birth
yeah,
certificates way
yeah,
back in the day. You record everything
yeah,
in the Bible, and that was
yeah,
legal.
yeah.
So if there's any way, that we can like maybe add that tradition to our families, that would be awesome. Whether it be a Bible, you may not be religious or what have you, but some sort of
Right.
document that can house that information, I think would be super, super amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Whew, man. Well, Marcus, again, all I can say is thank you for coming on board. We look forward to having you come on again. Is there anything that you want to say in closing? Because, daddy duties. I got to go pick up the kids. They get out early today and what have you. But
Yeah.
anything you want to share with the folks that are listening?
I have a GoFundMe. I don't know the GoFundMe honestly.
We'll get
It's
it. We'll
on
put it up there.
Facebook and stuff. I have a GoFundMe, and any donation will help. It will go to retaining the legacy, as well as rebuilding and making sure that we are able to survive and make it through the long haul. We're prepared for the long haul. Um, Nothing's too little. Everything is appreciated. And my last thing I really want to say, Pasadena was, man, amazing, amazing. The love y'all shared for us was, hey, nothing like it. And we all know from Altadena, we all know we part of Pasadena because that's where we went to high school. We didn't have no high schools in Altadena. We may have had elementary, but we didn't have high school. So we all are part of Pasadena. Our upbringing, so Pasadena, I really do appreciate the way you guys showed up right off the bat, day one, with the donation lines and stuff. You guys will never know how much that means and how much that made us be able to persevere that first week. That first week was something real critical, and without your love,
Man, we got you, bro. And we got everybody affected. It like we know it's Altadena, Pasadena, but we just say Dina. It's Dina Strong.
Yeah.
It's Dina Love. But from high school on, we used to say Dina Love a lot.
Right.
Dina Strong, Dina Love, all that good stuff. It's so true, and so many people just don't get it.
Yeah.
It's hard to really impart that feeling on folks unless you just experience it.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
Oh, man. Well, thank you again. I'm gonna let you get back to your day. Actually, when I take you out of the meeting, if you could just hold tight for a minute. I think Brian's coming back at this moment. All right, cool. B, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. But yeah, again, Marcus, thank you so much. Hold tight once we get you out the meeting. We're gonna just talk to you for a second. But
okay.
Thank you so much. We look forward to having you on again. So
I'll absolutely be back, and I ain't going nowhere, y'all.
That's what I thought.
I ain't going nowhere. Man.
Talk to you in a minute. Thank you, Marcus. All right, folks. It's another episode of Altadena Talks. Thought this was very, impactful as well. We've had some really good ones, and this was on a different level. Someone just talking about their experience. Man, it was great. It
really was. No, I just want to give some special shout outs to the people who are on Instagram that we don't ever forget about. So I'm going to go down the line. We had Kirk Devine came on, Tanya Owens, Tracy Brooks, Mosa Moore. I don't know how to say this one person's name. Percorsidulucci. Big Herb, Squeaky Squeak. Hey, man, we waiting on that barbecue, bro.
Yeah.
What's happening? We need the Dina Love barbecue, man. We could all come together, Central Park barbecue cook-off. Can we make that happen? Can you come on the show so we can talk about how you used to supply everybody with the grub and drinks? Come on, bro. Your sides, bro. Come on, stop playing. We had Brandon. We had Chico Sticks, Yokina, Jamar. Chico Sticks said Dina Strong. Chico Sticks said the abundant support is outstanding. The community is the best. Mark Hightower, Black Polynesian Beast Mode joined. Just Blythe. Elaine is on both channels. She on the Instagram too. So special shout out to all y'all that joined us today. And I know this is going to be one of the biggest shows we've had also, because when you get somebody that comes on as heartfelt as Marcus, man, you can't go wrong. And plus, we're going to be bringing him back because he's going to be also showing you all the different steps he's going through so they can help you out too. So once again, we're live from the studios. We got people walking around our backgrounds. They think they slick. We saw you. Anyway, peace out, and we hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
Till the next one. Y'all take care.